Men and women gather separately and together in non-scripted conversations over the topics at hand. The people and their responses are real. No telling what's gonna happen. It's his and hers. Let's jump in. If you or someone you know would like to be a panelist on His and Hers, email us at production@plugnetworkonline.com. Subject line, His and Hers. No telling what's gonna happen. It's his and hers. Let's jump in.
Hey everyone, how's everybody doing today? We are here today at the Plug Network Online, and we are at the women's edition of His and Hers. I have a few co-hosts. I have Tiandra.
Hello.
And then we have Kosa. She's online from New Jersey.
Hey guys.
Hey girl, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Pretty good. So everybody knows His and Hers is about conversations, trying to build the relationships between women and men. And this week we have the women's edition. So I guess we'll get right into it. You want to pick first or you want me to do it?
Sure. So the first question is, in regards to the younger generation, do as I say, not as I do. Let me get this together. In regards to the younger generation, do as I say, not as I do. Does that really work?
No, it does not. How are you going to tell me to do something opposite of what you're doing? I'm going to replicate what I see as a child, you know?
Well, I think that means learn from my mistakes. So I think when you say that phrase, you have to put context to it, because I do that. I say that to my kids. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, but they're going to replicate what they're saying. Like, if they see you do it,
right,
9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, all right, if mama did it, that's cool. I'm gonna try it too. But
see, that's when that's why it becomes, everything like that can become a lesson on why I can do it and why you can't, or why you shouldn't.
True.
So,
but looking at the younger generation now, let's really be real about it. Like us, when we were kids and our parents said something like that to us, we'll probably take it in, listen to it. But now these kids is turned up out here, girl. They are not trying to listen. Cause what do you think about that question?
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yes.
I think it works. It works because I remember people saying that to me all the time, and I'm like, it made me think like, okay, do as you say, not as you do. And if I see you doing wrong and you're not looking all that great, I mean, I feel like kids have a good sense of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you want to do what they're doing if they're not looking that good?
Okay, so
Shoot, sometimes, a lot of times, well, sometimes I don't even listen to what they say either if they ain't got their stuff together.
okay, so let's take it a different spin of that. So you're telling me this is what y'all think. So if my parent is a street pharmacist,
Okay.
and they're telling me to not do what I do, and this is what I see all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
I see you bringing in all this money. I see you doing all this stuff. You got all these cars, and it's a part of it's how my life is
Right.
what it is.
Right.
But you're telling me not to do what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, because in reality, they know it's wrong. And for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, they're doing that for their own personal gain, selfish reasons, whatever the case may be. But they also know the cons that come with that lifestyle. And until they decide that they're going to stop that, we as parents always want our kids to be better than us.
Of
So
course.
that's really, to me, what that phrase means: be better than what I am. Like, I'm choosing to do this for whatever reason. Maybe I really don't want to do it, so I don't want to see you make this same mistake. Yeah, you're seeing the money and all of that from it, but know that I can end up in prison, I can end up dead, and I don't want that for you.
Right. I can understand that coming from a parent's standpoint, but I also believe if you continue to do the same thing that you're doing, that you're telling your child not to do it, and their minds is also telling them that they can. If you're continuing to keep doing the process of it, and if they see that you're changing and you're trying to do something to better yourself, I feel like then they'll see that. But kids these days, that's why we have a whole lot of issues that we have in our communities for that reason.
I feel like it can go both ways. Like, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. Kids could want to do exactly what you're doing, or they could want to do exactly the opposite of what you're doing. I just think that it, as adults, we do have the right to do what we want to do. Like, we're grown, we can, if it's not the best thing, like if we want to be a street pharmacist or a stripper or a doctor, we have that choice as adults to do that, right? But I think as parents, when it comes to something like that, we have to explain to our children why something is good for us and why something is bad for us. So with me, I try to explain, because I'm a mother, I try to explain to my children, you know, what I feel like is good and what I feel like is bad. And because I am a fluent human being, sometimes I do right, sometimes I do wrong, and here's why. So I think a lot of times, like growing up, a lot of parents will always say, you know, stay in a child's place or don't question me and stuff like that. And I feel like that was toxic behavior because you're supposed to teach children. So that's my put on it.
Okay, cool. Let me get another question out of here. Let's see. Oh, Lord. Okay. How do you think Jaden Smith was impacted by his mother's entanglement with Austin Alsina? So basically, I think this show is really about how your relationships affect your children.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, I guess I'm perfect for this because I have kids. So,
so
do you guys have kids?
Yes, we do. Both have
Yes.
kids. We do.
Okay. All right, we in the same boat. Okay.
So, what do y'all think about that question?
Okay, read it again.
How do you think Jaden Smith was impacted by his mother's entanglement with August Alsina while being married?
I mean, that's going to be a hard question to answer because he didn't speak out about it. So we don't know how he felt about it. He could have not cared.
And that was his friend, though.
I understand, but this might have been a conversation that they had within their household. And so there was no need to address it.
Shoot, he probably knew before his daddy knew. He probably knew before Jada knew it was going to happen, because August probably was like, yo, your mom is hot. I'm about to get it. Like, because you know how they is. Little boys be like, yo, your mom, like, I come over, what your mom doing? Like, yes.
That is funny.
So he honestly, I don't think because like in that lifestyle, like being rich and being famous, and supposedly Will and Jada, they were swingers, right? Did you guys hear about that? Like they had open
that was rumor. That was alleged.
Yeah, it was an alleged rumor that they have open relationships, but she did have another relationship on the side, so an entanglement.
You know, I stay out of people's relationships because you don't know what type of arrangement they have. So
okay,
very true.
Whatever works for Will and Jada works for Will and Jada.
True, very true.
Will did say keep my wife's name out your mouth now.
He did.
He got Chris. Yes,
he did.
He's
say
not
that.
playing about her. Okay?
Yeah,
he did say that. And you know what's crazy? The other day, well, no, actually, it was today. She had a red table talk and she spoke about the situation.
Yes.
And she just said that she hopes that both of the men get it together and mend their relationship.
Right. So we'll see.
Yeah,
but she needs to be directing that towards her husband and telling her husband he need to reach out to Chris Rock. But again,
right,
that's Will and Jada. I'm not even in that tax bracket to even speak on that.
But I'm gonna go back to that question, y'all. That's pretty messed up. I don't care if somebody agrees with it or not. If my son is cool with it,
but
whatever.
We know that happens all the time.
That's not it. That
happens all. I guarantee you, there's plenty of boys whose moms are probably.
Okay, Puffy did the same thing too, didn't he? Didn't he date his son?
I don't know if that was
daughter.
Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Hollywood lifestyle.
Lori Harvey.
You know,
she's the GOAT.
I mind my tax bracket business. That is what I do.
I feel like as a celebrity, you need scandal though to be relevant. I feel like scandal makes you a celebrity. That's why
I don't need no scandals.
People are famous. I feel like the most famous people are famous because of scandals, and I also feel like a lot of times with this social media thing, like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the most famous ones are because of some type of scandal. If you think about it, Jess Hilarious, she didn't really pop off until she started dealing with that guy Wayne.
Country Wayne.
Never mind. I'm sorry. I ain't going to give y'all. I ain't going to do all that.
Girl, you can give us a rundown. You can go do it.
It's all about the scandal. Rihanna popped off with Chris Brown and all that stuff. Like it's the scandal.
But I mean, I guess going back to the question, we can't really. I personally can't answer that because, like I said, we don't know what type of conversations they had in their household. And I mean, as long as Jaden didn't address it, then to me, there's no issue. We ain't seen them. We ain't seen them act out. We ain't seen them say anything. So clearly,
if there was some type of emotion, it was dead before we found out.
Right.
You know, I think the household knew about it way before we did.
Right.
Right. I agree with you. It's still crazy. It is crazy though. I can't imagine myself like.
Yeah, and it's funny because my son is 13, and so he's going to go into high school, but he's kind of at the age, so he was going to this after school program, and he used to hate when I would come in there to pick him up. Because every time I would go in, his friends would be like, Trey, your mom's here. Trey, is your mom. Is that your mom? Is that your mom? And he's like, shut up. So like now he's ready to be at that point. Like, I guess if his friends say something about me, he's going to be like,
my son,
he wanted me to stop
is
coming
5.
in there to get him.
Right. Okay, so we're running out of time. We're going to come back. We got to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
If you or someone you know would like to be a panelist on His and Hers, email us at production@plugnetworkonline.com. Subject line, His and Hers. No telling what's gonna happen. It's his and hers. Let's jump in.
And we are back. And Tiandra, I think it's your turn, but let's talk about 502 Black Business Week. What you got going on this month?
Yes. So, in case you've been under a rock for the past 3 months, I am the creator of 502 Black Business Week, which is a week that promotes Black-owned businesses during the week of Juneteenth. Started it in 2018 with 14 businesses. This year I have about 125.
Yes,
so it's the 5th annual 502 Black Business Week.
Okay.
And that goes down June the 19th through the 25th. So all of these businesses have to offer some type of discount or promotion to encourage people to come and spend money with them during the week of Juneteenth. So, and hopefully that'll go beyond. You know, it's all about celebrating Black businesses, supporting Black businesses, recycling the Black dollar, all of that Black entrepreneurship, creating generational wealth, all that good stuff.
Good.
So,
That's amazing.
yes.
That's amazing. I've watched the progression. You should be very proud of yourself.
I am a little bit. So, and I think it's my turn to draw a question.
It
correct?
is your turn.
Okay,
It's your turn.
so let's see. I'm gonna grab this big old piece of paper. Let's see. Do you need to be a perfect person to qualify as a role model for the youth?
No.
Definitely not.
No, nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. I think our flaws are what help us to teach other people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's because like nobody's perfect. So everybody has a story to tell.
They do. And the
But
what's
oh
up,
no,
Tosa?
I was just gonna say, but when I was young, do y'all remember how adults used to act like they were so perfect, especially up in the church? Like, ooh, like if you was caught having sex at 18, 19, they'd be like, oh God, I never did nothing like this in my life. Oh God. I never sucked a dick before. Like, where my mom did. Like,
What?
Church folk definitely be
Keep it real.
different. Church folks definitely be
Yeah.
different. I stayed away from the church for a long time because there was a lot of I can't even say the word.
Hypocrites.
Yes.
Yes, girl.
It was a lot of that for me. But I think to be a role model is just based on you being able to provide guidance to someone else. And of course, you know, if you were perfect, there would be nothing that you can give to someone else.
Right.
So
And when we say that there's no perfect person. There is only one perfect person that walked the earth. So when even in the church situation, when they act as if they're perfect, that's not being realistic.
right.
It really isn't. And I think that that one of the things that we really need to expand in our community is to make sure that we do mentor our youth, like really try to get involved, because we're having a whole lot of issues with
My thing with that, and let me say this, we're not obligated, but I feel like we're obligated. We need to give back in some type of way.
Yeah.
And I definitely encourage that with business owners, especially Black-owned businesses. You need to, in your business, incorporate some type of philanthropy
Mm-hmm.
or some type of way that you're giving back. And everybody, especially like last summer here in Louisville, people were just pretty much fed up with, it felt like the youth were running amok in the city. And while there is a lot of youth groups, it's almost like they're not reaching the kids that needed to be reached. A lot of these mentoring groups were basically mentoring pretty much decent to good kids.
Our families and friends.
Yeah, we weren't
mentors, yeah.
getting the street kids, and that's who you need to get. You
Mhm.
can't be scared to get those kids. So it's
you know why? Because most of the people that are out here mentoring can't relate. The people that can relate are in jail, they're dead, they're not here. So you have the outsiders, the people that didn't really live the life, or they're mentally disabled, like something is mentally wrong with them where they can't accept their past or who they was, and they didn't really move or upgrade themselves. Or if they did upgrade themselves, they try to bury their past. So when you see a lot of mentors, I feel like a lot of them cannot relate to what these little kids are actually going through. So I encourage people who have been through something to just be like unapologetic about it and honest about it and share your story. Share it. It doesn't matter. Like I remember I was watching some video on Facebook when a lady was like, she was in church and she was saying she was a backslider and she was sucking dick for
She
drugs.
keep on talking about this.
And
Girl, you funny.
listen. I'm so serious. And they had took the mic from her. They was like, oh no, this is inappropriate. But that's the truth. That's the truth. That's real stuff that people need to hear. They need to let these people who really been through things open their mouth and actually speak, because they could be speaking to someone who needs to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like children need someone to relate to. Just like when you're a kid and you're black and you go into an all white school, it's better when you have a black teacher. You know what I mean? You can relate to the black teacher as a black girl. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't know.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense.
So these at-risk kids need people who have made it through those circumstances to reach out to them and share their story.
Now, I will say this, here in Louisville, there are a lot of people that came from those same situations that are doing it. But again, they have to really get the kids, and I hate the whole no snitching and all of that culture, because it's a lot of parents out here that know that their kids are participating in these activities that refuse to speak up. And so that's part of the problem. We want to turn a blind eye, or we want our kids to be tough or whatever. So until we really decide that we really want better for our kids, there's going to always be a situation with youth who are running wild. You know, think about most of the carjackings that have been happening in the city have been youth.
Yeah, it has. Somebody tried to steal my car the other day.
Somebody knows whose kids these are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where are your kids?
Where's your mother?
So,
like, child, like, where's your mom? What are you doing out here this late at night taking cars? Like, that's ridiculous. But you know what? There's some parents who encourage it.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like,
because they're reaping the benefits too as well.
Yeah, you're 13. I'm not doing school shopping. You better go out there and get your own stuff like I did. That's exactly what these parents be saying.
And then I've met so many kids that their responsibility is to take care of the home. Like, even young girls that their mother is like, you got to go get a job and take care of this house, and they're not being kids.
Take care of these kids while I go to the club, while I go on vacation for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Yeah. And they like 11 years old, taking care of like their little sisters and brothers.
Yeah. Our culture of family, our family dynamics are interesting. The job that I do full time, I work with high school students, and I've been doing it since 2011, and it's in lower income, lower performing high schools. And what's always the most interesting dynamic that I've come across is the mother-daughter, where the mother-daughter relationship is toxic. And I've come across that a lot with my students. Some is like, me and my mama fell out, so she's not going to do this for me. I had to go stay with my aunt or my grandma because me and my mom fell out, and now she's not talking to me. And it's usually with my senior girls, when it's time for them to do financial aid and they need their mother's information, well, my mama's not going to give it to me because she's mad at me. And it's just kind of like, how do you not want your child to be successful, especially if they're trying to do right and they're trying to go to college, but because y'all done fell out, you're not going to provide them that information?
How you going to fall out with your kid? They didn't ask to be here. So it's your responsibility.
Or, you have some kids, some girls that are like, I got to give my mama my check, or I got to give her half my check. And it's just like, they can't even really enjoy, being a teenager.
That's how I felt as a kid growing up. And it was, you know what, honestly, having that type of relationship with my mom, or that dynamic with my mom, I ended up living with my grandma from like 12 to when I moved out at 17 or whatever. And I was like, I just felt like, I don't know, like alone. And it made me lean to my kid, the person I have kids with now. I had my first child when I was 12 years old. I mean, in 12th grade.
I was like, oh, okay.
Whoa, baby.
She said,
No.
whoa.
Whoa. Okay. No, I was in 12th grade when I had my first child. But the point is, like, with having no genuine support and love, it made me fall head over heels for the guy that I was dating in high school. So that's how I ended up being. But in return, I ended up raising my sister. I adopted her when she was 12. And me and her kind of had that fallout type of thing going on, because she just like, she thought because we were siblings that I was going to let her just do whatever the fuck she wanted to do. Excuse my language. I don't know if you guys on here. But yeah. And I told her, I said, look, I'm never going to give up on you. I will always love you. You can hate me no matter what, but it is what it is. And when you turn 18, if you want to move out, you can. But as long as you live in here, you're going to have to go to college. You're going to have to get good grades. You're going to have to clean. And there's things that you're going to have to do. And that's just what it is. I set the rules. I stand strong on it. And don't, she never really like disrespected me too much. But she's 21 now and she's doing good. So I don't understand how moms could have like a big falling out with their kids to the point where you don't even know where your kid is or if they're okay or not. That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I have a daughter that's 8, and I couldn't imagine her in her senior year trying to get everything, she's, done good for the most part. And I don't know if there's anything that she can do to me to where I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna give you my tax information. So you gonna have to figure it out. I guess if I ain't gonna give it to you, then you're not gonna be able to go to college.
There's nothing
That's
that child
sad.
can. That's not,
But I see it all the time.
that's crazy.
That's really.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to come right back. We gotta cut out for a commercial.
If you or someone you know would like to be a panelist on His and Hers, email us at production@plugnetworkonline.com. Subject line, His and Hers. No telling what's gonna happen. It's His and Hers. Let's jump in.
Okay, we're back, and let's get back into the questions. Let's see. Hope I'm getting nothing crazy. This question is long. Okay, communication is the key to building relationships. What are some of the reasons do you feel that we have a rise in violence in our community dealing with our youth?
Oh, a rise in violence.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm trying to figure out how that
Wait,
correlates.
did you say what do we feel is the reason for the rise in violence in our communities?
Yes.
Uh, Social media, the influence, music, celebrities.
So what can we do to help change that? Like, what is the things that we can do to prevent? Like, I know that, TikTok. Okay, let me tell you about TikTok. Like, I watch your TikTok stuff, but I can tell you the teenagers and stuff that they're looking at on there is crazy. Like, okay, how you mix this together? Stuff that they ain't supposed to be mixing together, or who you can order something from illegal that you ain't supposed to be. Like, it's so much crazy stuff out there that our kids have access to, and you are so correct. The music that is creating a culture where it's okay to kill people and act as if it's something it's a great situation. Like,
I feel like it's not that simple. It's definitely more complex than that. I feel like it has a lot to do with self-awareness and self-reflection. So when you look at your phone constantly, you're really not looking at yourself. You're really not self-aware of who you are and what you are, right? So you have music telling you who you are, what you should be, or what you should inspire to be. And then when you don't live up to those expectations, it makes you hate yourself. And a lot of people don't admit that. A lot of kids don't admit that. And then also with the social media, you see these celebrities living these luxury lives and they just look like everything is okay for them and great, right? And a lot of times, most people in the world do not match those things. Even the people that are actually
but they
making
lying.
these posts, yeah, they not even living up to these things. Like, I've said to people multiple times, like, some people, they think that I'm doing oh so great because I went to Puerto Rico, and I'm like, girl, bye. I saved up for 2 years for that trip. Like, okay, man, I waited till tax season, okay. But the point is that I think that people they spend more time looking at other people's life and making their own perception, and then therefore making it a reflection of themselves. So they're just not aware of their own values. Therefore, they're angry, enraged, boom, violent.
Here's my thing. So, okay, there's so many layers to, I guess, the rise of violence in youth. I don't think it can be pinpointed to one particular thing.
Correct.
But one thing that I've always felt was a big component of that is lack of accountability. We are not holding kids accountable for their actions. And so one thing my husband and I are trying to teach our son is for every action that you do, there's either going to be a reward or a consequence. And so we're always trying to make him responsible for the things that he does. But a lot of times we end up making excuses for what our kids do. And so, you can't discipline your kids because then CPS is the system is going to get involved. Because you'll have some people that we need to whoop their ass, and we ain't whooping ass, which is why they're that way. But then you got people like, physical discipline is not the answer. Well, something has to be done. There's a disconnect, and I guess that's the part of the communication. So when stuff was happening with our kids running around, you had people that were like, we did this when we were younger, it's just not captured on social media again. So now you saying that, now you're allowing the accountability to go away. Okay, yeah, we did this when we were that, we should know better. So if we know that that's how we were doing, we can't allow them to do the same thing.
Right.
And so now again, we've taken that accountability away from them. That's one of the things that they're lacking is accountability.
I agree with you totally.
I agree. I totally agree with that. You have that side of it, but then you also have a side where some of these kids wish somebody would, right? So they looking for the opportunity to go to jail. They want to go to jail. There's actual kids out here that's not scared to shoot a gun, that's not scared. They can't wait for the opportunity to shoot a gun. They can't wait for the opportunity to get in a fight because they get popular. They can't wait to go to jail because when they get out of jail, they're gonna be like, yeah, I was in juvie, I was in jail, yeah, I'm tough, I'm a gangster. You know, they can't wait to hit a link. Yeah. You know, it's popularity. It looks cool. So even though people know the consequences of things, they still have the wrong perception of what's good and what's okay and what's bad. You know what I mean? Well, what's acceptable.
And a lot of that, I don't know which one of you, I said it earlier. I see, when I see some of the parents, I understand why the kids behave that way.
I do.
Because dealing with some of my students, I see how the parents behave, and I say that's why that child acts that way. Mm-hmm. And so the other component now is that home structure, that upbringing.
Yeah.
So now you got lack of accountability parenting. So that's why I'm saying you can't narrow it down to one thing.
It's different layers. It's really
so. But I definitely seen some kids, and then when I see their parents in action, I say I get it.
Well, you ever see some kids and you can't understand why they act that way? Like the ones they mom and dad's a pastor and the son is off the hook. Okay, you ever seen them?
I've seen that too. I've seen that too, and that one is kind of just bucking the system, because even in their parents being able to provide and be whatever upstanding parenting and all of that, there's still going to be something in that child. Now, this is where that outside influence and that peer pressure comes in, because we can do
that bullying,
everything to make sure, you know, our son stays on the right path, but ultimately his friends are going to have a big influence on him as well.
Correct.
So, but that's where me as a parent, as a mother, I have to teach him that. I have to be cognitive of what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, we always, as parents, we have to be like 2 steps ahead.
Very true. And we also got to teach our kids that, you know, you have to be aware of everything that you're choosing to do and the people that you're around. Like, be a leader instead of a follower. Because I feel like a whole lot of kids right now, they're lacking a whole lot of different things. Like, they want somebody to care about them.
Definitely.
And that, you know, they have parents that don't care. You know, they go to school and they have teachers that don't understand them and don't care.
Definitely.
So they're looking for people to care. And so they go to their peers, and then a peer that doesn't have the best, that isn't doing the best things, right, not having the best intentions, can influence you to do things that you know you shouldn't be able to.
And they do want someone to care, because I can tell you how many times I've sat, and my job is not to be a therapist or a counselor, but students will come in my office and they spilling their guts. And I'm like, you really need to get that out. Like, they didn't, obviously they felt comfortable with me. And I'm even telling you, and kids will tell on themselves, even when there was like certain shootings and stuff that were happening, like when they lost friends, these kids knew. They knew who did it. They know the reason. And if you make them comfortable, they will talk. Yeah. They're going to tell you.
Because it's a whole lot of burdens that they're carrying. Yeah. These kids.
And they gonna spill their guts.
Yeah.
If they know that they can confide in you, or they can be comfortable with you, they are going to tell you. They're going to tell you stuff.
I agree.
But you know, the thing about all this that we're talking about, I feel like it doesn't stop when you're a child. I feel like a lot of us are still dealing with these same circumstances into our adulthood. That's why you have so many people not doing great as adults, or feeling like they're doing great as adults, because they're still looking for a place to be cared for and accepted.
Very true.
And you have grown people going to jail every day and indulging in violence and bad things every day because they're still hurt kids.
Yeah, but in that also, the mental health component, you know, forever has been that, you know, go pray about it. Now you need to get help. People need to get help.
I think one thing that they need to do and start at the elementary school level is conflict resolution. That needs to be some type of curriculum that these kids are learning. is conflict resolution and problem solving. And because they don't have those skills, you know, because these kids come into elementary school very aggressive.
They do. They really do.
You're talking about, you know, I know people that work in elementary schools that are having to restrain kindergartners.
Really?
Yes. It's not the same. There's kids carrying guns to school.
Yeah,
no
first
way.
and second graders.
Yeah, they're having to restrain kindergartners because they're that aggressive, and they are physical. They gonna cuss you out, and this is at kindergarten.
Yeah, that is very true.
But then going back, you know, real quick before the time is up, you'll have, when you have to call that parent and say, you know, your child is this, the parent, that's not my child.
Right.
Y'all must have did something to my child. No, you know your child was that had a behavioral issue. But see, again,
no accountability.
You don't want to be in denial.
Yes.
That my child, I know my son. So when his teacher used to call and be like, Trey did this, Trey did that, and he'd be like, no, I didn't. Yes, you did, because you exhibited those same behaviors at home.
Right.
Your teachers aren't lying.
Right.
You did.
Right.
But you're not going to get a lot of parents that are going to do that.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's very
I feel like those parents make it hard for their own children anyway in the long run. A lot of times I tell my son, like, he's 5 years old, but I hold him accountable for everything that he does. And I tell him, I'm like, look, I'd rather be the one that give you the good and the bad than somebody else giving it to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth, no matter how good it is. I'm gonna tell you the bad, no matter how bad it is. And you know, I want him to be open and honest with me too. I feel like a lot of these kids, they don't feel like they could tell their parents anything opposite of what, you know, like I also feel like some of these kids, they're not going to tell their mom, like, yeah, I was acting up in school today. They're going to say no. They're going to lie. My son, I make it safe for him to tell me if he was acting up. And I want to know why he was acting up. And then we're going to talk about what we're going to do next time you're angry or you're upset, because that's what we need to work on. We need to work on you controlling your emotions.
Right.
And so I feel like,
hey, Chris, so we got to come back. We got to run to a commercial real quick, and we'll be right back with His and Hers.
Okay.
If you or someone you know would like to be a panelist on His and Hers, email us at production@plugnetworkonline.com. Subject line, His and Hers. No telling what's gonna happen. It's His and Hers. Let's jump in.
Okay, we are back with His and Hers. Tiandra, what you got?
All right. Do you think ratchet behavior like drinking, twerking, and drug use impacts children who witness it? Now, I'm not gonna say drinking is ratchet behavior. I mean, everybody drinks. If that's the case, for the most part, then everybody's ratchet.
I wouldn't say that's ratchet behavior, because wine and drink. I mean, people drink to have fun,
to unwind, to relax. Yeah, so
excessive drinking. Okay,
maybe like getting drunk, but
in front of your kids.
But that in itself isn't still ratchet. I guess it's how you behave after
you're intoxicated.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and I mean, I don't even know if twerking is ratchet behavior. I mean, because twerking ultimately really means dancing. And see, I dance a lot.
So these questions, the questions that we get are from people that submit the questions. So we really never know what the question is, but twerking, it's dancing. It is dancing. Yeah. What is ratchet about twerking? It depends on what you're doing.
Now I will say, because there was a video of some parents that were dancing somewhere where their kids were around, and I think the moms were on a headset, okay, that was ratchet. That was a lot. Okay. That was
wait, did y'all see the video with Ari? She was bending over and her butt cheeks was going left, right, and her son was in the back playing with a balloon. Did y'all see that video?
No,
Ari,
I did not see
but
that.
I mean, wait, so
that would have been much.
Yeah,
with your baby in the background.
Yeah.
I think, see, I'm ratchet, so I don't care. I mean, what people say. I feel like I'm a good person, and
what is
my children
ratchet for me first?
I'm sophisticated ratchet.
Yeah. So whatever it is, they can say what they want to say.
To me, I don't know what ratchet is the new ghetto.
Okay.
So when people be like, I'm ghetto. So I mean,
you said you think so. So ratchet is the new ghetto.
I think so. Because people don't really say ghetto anymore. They be like, it's ratchet.
That's ratchet. True. Very true.
So it's just the new ghetto. I mean,
I'm trying to take the question
is a tool.
Right.
So dancing and drinking.
It's summarized as a ghetto bitch. Excuse my language. It says on Urban Dictionary, who thinks she looks so good or is all that.
Well, I'm hella ratchet.
Right. Okay.
I'm hella ratchet. If that's the
definition. You done broke out dancing, girl.
Period.
Well, okay.
She said, okay, repeat that definition again, girl.
Because what?
Okay. A ghetto B who thinks she looks so good or is all that.
And that's in the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, it sure is.
Well, I'm
Urban
ratchet.
Dictionary. It says, it has a lot on here. Dramatic, examples, dramatic, messy, rude, cruel, can be childish, attitude, sassy. Matter of fact, didn't Megan Thee Stallion make a song about it? I'm classy, bougie, ratchet. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, she did make it. Yeah.
Ratchet.
That's why I say I'm sophisticated ratchet. I'm sophisticated and I can be ratchet. So I can.
Okay.
Well, you gotta, the crazy thing is you gotta code change to different situations.
Yeah, it's a time and place for everything.
It is.
Oh, it is. You gotta know how to code switch. I feel like as Black women,
you
we are
need to twerk for your man, girl. I mean, what is I'm trying to figure out what are we talking about?
Because I ain't got no problem
as
doing
women, we are pros at code switching. We are pros at code switching. We are the NBA Jordan of the switch game. Code switch. We mothers, we teachers, we wives, we
motivators,
co-workers.
Yeah,
we code switch all day.
Yeah, very true.
That's why on my social media, I'm like, look, I ain't code switching on here. I'm gonna say what I want to say.
Right.
Right. So I don't know about that question.
Yeah, because I mean, even drug use is not ratchet. I mean, that's a bad habit. And
call it what it is.
And that's a hard habit to break. So I don't know.
But I guess the question was supposed to say with those doing those things in
That's
front of
around
your
your kids. I mean,
Ugh. Like,
Yeah.
you got parents these days that smoke weed with their kids.
right,
They drink with their children.
right, and they twerk with their kids,
And they twerk
so,
with their kids.
so
I
when
think it depends on how old the kids are,
right,
age appropriate. So I think that makes a difference. So maybe they talking about like toddlers.
What is age appropriate?
What when they grown? You know, like if you like 52 and your child's 25 or something, then
So
I
we
think
saying
it's
21.
appropriate. Yeah, I think it's appropriate to hang out. You know, like oh, you want to drink? You know, you drink with your child. Your child's already drinking, so I mean, why not make a cocktail with them? You know, or have a shot for their birthday or Christmas or you know stuff like that. I don't think that's ratchet or terrible at all. But if it's a toddler, like 4 years old now, I think you're pushing the limit to be, you know, child protective services or something.
What about teenagers? Because that's the thing that I'm talking about. Like,
Mm,
there's a whole lot of parents that smoke,
Mhm,
drink,
mhm,
invite their
mm-mm.
kids' friends over, and they party
Mhm.
with their friends.
mhm.
Uh,
Now that, yeah, that's probably a little ratchet.
that's
A little blurry line. I do have a thing where I do believe that I'd rather know what my child is doing at a teenage. Wait, am I even here?
yeah,
Oh,
you're back.
yeah. Okay. I do rather know what my like child is doing at a teenage years, but I want them to understand respect and being like not messy. Like you can't let everyone know what you're doing. And I feel like that's you learn that at home. You know what I mean? You learn at home how to be private and have some secret to what you're doing instead of being all out and about smoking and drinking with any and everybody. I feel like those are things that people aren't comfortable with talking about, but our kids need to know. Because if they want to do it, they're going to do it, and they're probably going to do it with any and everybody behind your back, and that is dangerous. So me personally, like my sister, when she was a little bit older and she was curious and drinking, I bought her a drink, and she sat right here with me, and we drank a drink. And she didn't drink a lot. She was just like, "Oh, this is not even what I thought it was." So it was like when she went out with her friends, she wasn't even pressed to drink or experience any of those things because she got to see what it was like. We had that talk, we had that uncomfortable situation at home in a safe space. So I could see how it could happen, but yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, we have another question. It's the last question. As a parent, do you feel that the relationships that are under your roof impact how your children learn how to deal with their own relationships?
So, like we said earlier, children will mimic what they see. So if they see healthy relationships, more than likely that's what they're going to have. If they see toxic relationships, that's how they're going to think things are supposed to go. That's like if you see somebody, a husband, boyfriend beating on the girlfriend, wife, and there's a boy in the house. He's going to see that and thinks that's how I'm supposed to treat my significant other.
Right.
But if you see a two-parent household and you see that they're loving each other, then you're going to think, okay. And I think, and I'll use myself as an example. My mother, a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
So my father was not around for a lot of years of my life. So I didn't know what a healthy relationship looked like. And so I didn't know, when I would talk to guys, I didn't know what I wanted or what to expect or what I thought was nice. And so I had to go through a lot of frogs to get to my prince. But I began to notice that it was going to be a healthy relationship because my husband grew up with his parents. They've been married 40 something years.
Gotcha.
And so he came along and he was this gentleman. So he was like opening car doors and doing all of this stuff. And at first I thought it was weird. I was just like, this is whack. You're lame, because I wasn't used to that.
Right.
I wasn't used to being treated nice. And so when he was doing it, I was just like, this is nah.
Right.
But I had to allow myself, but that's because I didn't see that. I didn't see that growing up.
Yeah, so. I agree with you. I agree with the relationships in the home contribute to the way that your kids deal with relationships. And also when I was married before and divorced, and I'm in another relationship, engaged. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And I think that it does. You know what I'm saying? It does. When you're in a happier space and things are your life, everybody sees how you're enjoying your life and the love is pushed out to all the kids. It's better for everybody. Yeah. It really is.
And one thing, like if me and my husband are having disagreements, we never try to do that around our kids.
Facts.
So, we may wait till they go to sleep, or, I may go down in the basement where he is most of the time. If we have a situation, I don't ever want my kids to see this discord between my husband and myself.
Right.
Sometimes they catch it, but, we don't yell at each other or anything like that. We have disagreements and we figure out how to, but we never try to expose our kids to that.
Right. Well, it's crazy. We like running out of time for real. So, Tiandra, tell us about what you got going on.
So again, 502 Black Business Week going down June the 19th through the 25th. Over 120 businesses that are participating. Hoping that you all will spend money with them in celebration of Juneteenth. And we're all about supporting Black-owned businesses. The website is 502blackbusinessweek.com. Again, the website is 502blackbusinessweek.com. Make sure you go and check it out and buy Black.
What about you, Costa? What you got going on in New Jersey?
It's your girl, Costa Chelsea in New Jersey, representing South Jersey to be exact. I am a hairstylist and an entrepreneur. I have a hair business called Lexi Hair. I sell bundles, hair extensions, lexihair.com. And then also I have my own podcast called The Situation Talk Podcast. As you can see, it's on my shirt. I'm on all major podcasting platforms. So check me out. Okay. And you can also find me on Instagram as well, Kosa_Chelsea, and my podcast, The_Situation_Talk.
Okay, and of course, my name is Latasha Harrison. I am the owner of the Plug Network Online, and we are so excited that everybody's been tuning in Sunday through Saturday with all our great shows that we have. And we wanted to thank you for being a part of His and Hers, and see you next week.
Thank you.
If you or someone you know would like to be a panelist on His and Hers, email us at production@plugnetworkonline.com. Subject line, His and Hers. No telling what's gonna happen. It's his and hers. Let's jump in.